Welcome, everybody, back for episode 3 of Step by Step for your senior backpack defense. We're going to be looking at these next 3 check marks from the checklist, which are very, very important and actually represent a whole lot of points for the backpack defense. The first checkbox that we're going to look at is completing the senior backpack defense overview sheet. Then we're going to look at the checkbox of choosing the best 3 artifacts for your defense, and one must be from the school signature character folder. This video may be a little bit longer, but it's just because it's so important, and these points are really getting down to where we're getting specific to finding what students need to put together to get their best possible benefit. So as we go through this slide deck, we will end up on this slide that you see here. The backpack defense overview sheet is linked here, and we'll click that in just a second. Notice it says make your own copy. We have it in view only just because we need you to make your own copy so that you can edit it as you need to. If we left it just editable, it would not look anything like what it looks like now when it gets to you. So make your own copy of that, and then it's yours to edit and do as you need. And I will go ahead and say, if you're having issues editing or using that, feel free to print it out and write on it and then scan or take a picture of that and submit that. Those options are totally available for people who run into technology issues. So look at the notes about this. It has spaces on each of the 2 artifacts from each folder that will be attached to the showcase. You're going to fill that out completely, and again, we're about to look at that. It also includes a copy of the scoring rubric that's on page 2, and we're going to look at that as well. There's even a video linked here. We're not going to link this. When you are going and looking at this slide deck, make sure you click into that, and it will go in more depth about the rubric and how it's scored. And then there's directions at the bottom for the one-page senior reflection at the bottom of that second page. All right. And there's also, we're going to go ahead and throw this in here. The senior reflection is also a major component of this. And that's going to be talked about. So when we look at this link, we're going to get into that. And again, both of these documents are points towards your backpack defense final grade. All right. And notice where you're going to put these things once you have them done is also important. Once the senior reflection and overview sheet are done, they will be going into your school signature folder. It does not count as an artifact. So, for example, in that showcase, like we talked about in episode 2, where you're going to end up with 2 artifacts in each of those containers or those categories, what you're going to see, a completed and done well showcase will have 2 in every category except school signature, because you're going to have this document, your senior reflection document, and also your video that you will make at the end will all be in there. So it will look like all 2s, except for your last one will look like 4 or 5, depending on how you format. So let's go ahead now and click into the defense overview sheet. So here we are in the defense overview sheet. It starts off very simple. Just put your name, your English teacher's name, and the period you have them. We use that just for organization or tracking students down if we need to. Not so as important in NTI, but we leave that there just in case. Notice you do get a reminder. Please attach the 1-page minimum presentation reflection to the bottom of this form. We will be looking at that in just a second. Then you see we have the names of all of the categories: prepared and resilient learner, globally and culturally competent citizen, and so on. And in under of each of those, you see artifact 1, title, and 2, because you should have 2 artifacts in your showcase for this category, 2 artifacts in this showcase for this category. Notice it also has spots to name the teacher and the class and the year that you did those activities or presentations or products, artifacts in. We do get the question a lot. What if we have an artifact that really wasn't connected to a teacher or a class, or not even at Mayo? It is okay if the title, it's something like a volunteering activity that you did outside of school, but during Mayo years that you went to school at Mayo, you would just put a line through those, or in A, not applicable, because the title, hopefully you need to title it well so that we know and get an idea that, oh yes, that's not going to be there. And when we go and look at the artifact, your information there will let us know a little bit more about why it was not connected to Mayo, but still an important part of your growth during your years at Mayo. So notice we have all the categories. That's page 1. And then we go to page 2. There's a couple of the last two over here. And then we have the rubric. What are we looking for? The points that are possible. So we have the introduction for 5 points, discussing your artifact for 10 points, artifact 2 for 10 points, your signature artifact for 10. So notice during your backpack presentation, this rubric is for the presentation only. And then these documents, so you're going to be introducing yourself, talking about these 3 artifacts. 1 must be from signature. Talk about your post-secondary plan. What are you doing after you leave mail? And then multimedia, how did you present? Did you read from your slides? Did you, basically presentation skills, things like that. There are some questions that we'll get to about the panelists. And when we look at recording your video, we'll talk about that. The overview sheet, 10 points, is for filling this out correctly. 10 whole points. So if you don't do this sheet, you would end up with a 90 maximum. So this is an easy 10 points and helps you get organized. Do not skip this part. Then you see written presentation reflection, 1-page minimum, 25 points. That's a lot of points, and this is very important and shouldn't be too hard to do if you're following the directions. You may be asking, why do we need to do a written presentation reflection when we're going to be presenting and talking? Well, we're asking you to do this first because we found that when seniors do this piece first, it really prepares them to speak about their artifacts and their post-secondary plan. So we're real quick. Notice, please read directions for page 1 reflection here and complete below. Notice that page 3 of this document is where you can type your reflection, and that's absolutely fine. It can go there. If you put it on a separate Google Doc, that's fine. Make sure it's titled and put in your school signature folder of your showcase, though. So now let's click this link, the instructions for the prompt. So here we have the Senior Defense Prompt Reflection Instructions. All right. Now, the first thing I'm going to say, and everyone needs to make sure you listen, this should look like a written essay or paper that's in paragraph form. There will be paragraphs. It should not be bulleted points for the whole thing or anything like that. All right. And notice it prompts you to pick a theme. We really want seniors to kind of tie in a theme that kind of applies with mail so that they have something to keep referring back to. Good presentations and good papers all have a theme that runs through. So this provides some examples. If you have a different theme that you think could work, please email me and I'll check it out and we can have a discussion about it. And if I think it's going to work and it's some new thought, we may even open that one up to everyone else. So just ask me first. If it's not one of these, shoot me a quick email and we can talk about that and it may work and that would be awesome. So notice it says using one of these themes, demonstrate through written reflection and the presentation that's coming how mail has prepared you for post-secondary success. Now, this paper actually helps you organize that thought, okay? So your name, what theme you've chosen. Go ahead and write down the 3 artifacts on this paper if you printed it out, or if you make your own copy, that you can edit, write those there. Your post-secondary plan and your conclusion. This is kind of like a brainstorming piece. You will write this out on the bottom of page 3 or on page 3 of the reflection document or on your others, just as long as you let us know. All right. So that's 35 points of your grade, just completing this overview sheet and then completing this senior defense prompt. That is a 1-page minimum in paragraph form using these themes. And please, I'm going to also throw this out there because so many people don't do it. In your slides for your presentation and in these documents, use spell check. Please use spell check. Please make sure you're capitalizing those things that need to be capitalized. How you can lose points on this rubric for multimedia, appropriate tone and voice and things like that. That's a quick way to lose a few points. And it's an easy click. If you don't know where spell check is in Google Docs, it's under Tools, Spelling and Grammar. And just click Spelling and Grammar check and it will check your entire document. It may not catch everything, but it will catch those minor things that really jump out at people, like lowercase i's in anywhere that are alone, or starting a sentence, capital letters, using periods and exclamation points at the end. All of that is important, okay? So this is a really big checkbox, and we kind of leaked into the other checkbox because these two documents are connected. All right. So if you have any questions on how to do these, what you need to do, please do not hesitate to reach out and ask me. Let's go back to our presentation. Choosing your artifacts to defend. You have your showcase made. You've created it. You've added the 2 best artifacts from each folder. You've talked about them and put them on your backpack overview and reflection sheet. All right. Now it's time to decide, before you write that 1-page reflection, what are the 3 you're going to talk about? What are the 3 best artifacts in your backpack? And why are they your learning trophies? Why are they the things you're most proud of? All right. The first 2 can be from any folder at all, anything you want. But the last one, we require 1 school signature character folder artifact. And if you're having trouble picking that, just let me know and we will work through that. Once you have those 3 artifacts, then you start working on that 1-page reflection that we talked about, okay? And this video that you're seeing now, and there's a link to another video that talks about the reflection, these are all resources to help guide you and help you figure out what you want to do and write about for your reflection. And notice this paragraph, and this is where we're about going to end right now. If done correctly, the 1-page reflection summarizes what you will be talking about in your senior defense presentation. It would include everything but introducing yourself and any other details that you will want to add when you create your presentation. So again, we said the reflection helps seniors make a better presentation because you've already thought it out in this writing reflection. Because it's going to have you talking about your 3 artifacts, you talking about your post-secondary plan. All of that's there for you so that when you go and make your presentation slide deck, you look at this reflection and pull pieces from it and organize it and add pictures and things that we'll talk about in the next video. So this has been a long episode 3 and a very important and very point valuable episode 3. And I know there's a lot of information and we move fast. Again, if you have any questions, please email me, Mr. Daniel, and we will get you taken care of. And do not hesitate, seniors. The sooner you get this done, the better. It's off your plate. The grade goes into every class. You can sit back as far as backpack goes and know I'm good to graduate. So we're looking for, hopefully, seniors getting these done before spring break. If you have an issue with that or you have questions about that deadline, again, please reach out and I'll be glad to help anyone who needs any help at all. Have a great day.